Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here with us, because today we're doing something a little bit different. We are jumping right into a highly focused, super minimalist look at how legacy telecommunications are framed. We're not going to drown you in endless data points or, overwhelming technical jargon. Instead, we're looking at this singular, fascinating source text that literally strips everything down to its bare essence. It's kind of like a giant puzzle with just a few pieces. We're going to examine exactly how information is framed, how expectations are set, and how a few carefully chosen words can completely shape our understanding of everyday technology. So, get ready for a pretty wild exercise in brevity. Okay, let's dive into this. Our source material kicks off with a towering promise: voice over the wire, the mechanics of landlines. I want to instantly ground us in the specific boundaries of today's text. You see, this title, it isn't just a basic label. It's really this meticulously constructed doorway into our whole topic. It sets up this immediate expectation that we're going to get a comprehensive, maybe even an exhaustive breakdown of telecommunication history and function. The language, it's formal, it's authoritative, and it carries the serious weight of a textbook or, a definitive technical manual. It's actively prepping our brains for a deep, mechanical dive. Let's see how this builds, starting with the very first word, voice. Right? Before we get into any wires or infrastructure, the source explicitly prioritizes the human element. It is the fundamental, organic starting point of literally all spoken communication. By placing this single word right at the forefront, the source reminds us that the entire purpose of this complex technology we're about to explore, it exists solely to serve one basic human function. And what's that? The ability to connect and be heard. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how immediately the source shifts our focus away from the biological human voice and totally grounds it in tangible infrastructure, over the wire. It's not wireless, guys, and it's definitely not floating invisibly in the cloud somewhere. We are forced to acknowledge the literal physical medium that makes the transmission possible. We're talking copper, insulation, and actual physical connections spanning vast distances. It's a really powerful framing choice that anchors the whole abstract idea of communication into the undeniable reality of physical engineering. And that brings us to the next word. So, the crucial point is the expectation set by the word mechanics. This specific vocabulary sets a really powerful promise for a structural, foundational breakdown of the technology. I mean, when you read the word mechanics, your brain automatically anticipates gears turning, electrical currents flowing, and step-by-step logical processes being unveiled. It promises an explanation of the how, suggesting that the whole mystery of legacy telecommunications is about to be systematically dismantled and laid out for us in a crystal-clear blueprint. So up to this point, the title has built this towering, massive expectation of technical revelation. And now, we reach the major reveal of our explainer today: how a landline works. What you are looking at is the absolute entirety of the source's body text. That's it. Seriously, the whole shebang. After that incredibly authoritative formal title promising the mechanics of telecommunications, the text just delivers this. I mean, notice the striking brevity here. Notice the brilliantly uncapitalized format, completely shedding that stiff formality of the title we just looked at, and check out that deliberate space before the question mark. It is entirely open-ended. It's a stunning juxtaposition, really. The source doesn't provide a 1,000-word essay. It doesn't give us a complex, multi-layered diagram. Instead, it provides a single, raw, unfiltered question. It totally subverts every single expectation that the title just spent its time building up. And this brilliantly illustrates what our source is actually doing. We've totally moved away from the idea of the text acting as a static encyclopedia, and instead we're looking at an inquiry framework. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter? What should we actually take away from this? Well, it matters because the source isn't here to just spoon-feed us answers. No, it acts as a profound prompt. By presenting just the question, how a landline works, the text ignites our own curiosity about these everyday objects we completely take for granted. It basically turns the mirror right back on us, the readers. It asks us to realize that, hey, despite relying on this technology for generations, we might not actually know the answer. It totally shifts the burden of discovery away from the author and places it directly onto you, the learner. As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you exactly where our source material leaves us. Just consider this beautifully unresolved question one last time: how a landline works. Honestly, the lack of an answer in the text is actually its most compelling feature. It invites you to deeply ponder this missing information completely on your own. So the next time you see an old telephone pole out your window, or maybe you hear a faint dial tone in a classic movie, I want this specific, uncapitalized question to just echo in your mind. The mechanics? Well, they're out there waiting to be discovered by you. But the true brilliance of this text is simply having the absolute audacity to ask the question in the first place. Keep questioning the world around you.